What is this sound coming?
Oh, sound.
Airplanes.
Air conditioning.
You can switch off your mobile phones if you want to be stable. You didn't tell me, Shanti, the topic?
Yes, we have the topic, which is.
Living in the now.
Anyway, tell me anything, it's okay. I am going to bluff anyway.
I was gonna say, I don't know that you need a topic, so.
Okay. Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Those who think they cannot laugh, and those who laugh, they don't think. If you really want to be happy, stop thinking. See, when we are in deep sleep, snoring away, that time we are all happy because we don't think. Think. Stop thinking. Now the question is how to stop thinking. So normally what we do, we go to the teachers and complain. That is the only technique we know. So we go to the teacher, sir, whenever I sit for meditation, there are too many thoughts, terrible thoughts coming. Otherwise I am okay. But the moment I sit for meditation, terrible thoughts come. What should I do? Don't do meditation. So simple. But why the thoughts come that time? Because you are meditating. See, friends, instead of complaining, investigate to whom the thoughts come. We will come to know that at the root of every thought there is somebody. See, to remain as somebody and to imagine that there should not be thoughts is an impossible undertaking. This is the fundamental of all the spiritual practice. Stop becoming anybody. See? So in the deep sleep experience, who are we? Man, woman, young, old, rich, poor, Indian, American, healthy, unhealthy, educated, overeducated, beautiful, awful. Who are we? We are nobody, number one. When we are nobody, no thoughts. And when no thoughts, all snoring. Karr, karr. Can somebody be awake and snore? You cannot. So the first principle is we have to reduce to nobody. Because when we are born, we are nobody. Then slowly we start adding specialities. Man, woman, rich, poor, educated, uneducated. And thus we keep on adding concepts on us. And thereafter, we all start living conceptual existence, a virtual existence, not the real one. See? What is the meaning of conceptual, virtual existence? One example will make it clear. I move all around the world And one day I discovered one great thing about his conceptual existence. Jesus Christ, as painted in his homeland, has got sharp features, oblong face, beautiful beard, nice eyes, beautiful eyebrows. You migrate from his place toward the east. And when I was in China, I tell you, I could not stop. I started laughing. So my friend who was taking me, Swamiji, why are you laughing so much? I said, hey, please, I don't mind, but I can't stop. But what is the reason? I said, when you see or understand a joke, then you laugh, is it not? When you don't understand a joke, you don't laugh. But what is the joke? I said, look at Jesus. A round face, slit eyes, two hair. Jesus is the same. If Jesus comes alive and looks, hey, come on, I'm not that. This is how we develop concepts in our mind. And then this conceptual existence starts becoming a real existence. See. Therefore, all that we have to understand is unload yourself. How much load we carry? Physical load you carry, you get tired. Somebody can come and help you in reducing your physical load, possible. Then second is physiological load. Physiological load is you have lot of, let us say, blood pressure, bladder pressure. And when somebody has a terrible BP, bladder pressure, suddenly in the midst of the lecture, he gets up and goes out. Other people think, why this fellow is going suddenly? It is not suddenly. He has reached a limit to hold on to that pressure. After that, nothing, I have to go. Unload the pressure. The third thing is the mental pressure. The mental pressure is we carry the load of our total past. Now see how it is. Once in some place I was having some conference and age group was mixed age group, kids to the grandparents, and we were playing. And this was the principle which we wanted to establish. How to become, or rather how to revert back to nobody. This was the principle. So I called a child. I said, hey, come, we are playing. Hardly 5 years child. Yes. I said, come on, now you tell anything about you. Whatever you want to talk, you talk. And the child, no. I said, no, 5 minutes here to talk. We are playing. It's a game. So he started looking here and there. I like chocolates. One sentence. Then quiet. Now what to talk, what to talk. I don't like to go to school. Again struggling, what to talk, what to talk. Over, this is all. I said, no, you have to talk for 5 minutes. Only 2 minutes you have finished. 3 minutes you have to talk more. I have nothing to talk. I said, no, then you stand here. He said, no. I said, no, you cannot go. It's a game. You know what he said? If you don't allow me to go, I will do susu here. I said, go. That was his lecture about himself. Then the second game we are playing. I called one oldie like me, 78 not out. And the 78 old man came. And then I told him, now Papa, now you speak something about you for 5 minutes. What 5 minutes? He is not ready to stop. Now see, the child has hardly any past, so hardly anything to talk. The old man has only past, no future. And therefore, as our age grows, we become somebody strong. And therefore, in the old days, problems are more. During the childhood, they don't have time. What they do, it doesn't matter. 24 hours they are busy. Therefore, no depression. Can you imagine a small child depression? Not possible. Can you see old man without depression? Not possible. Why? Because that old man has to live 24 hours. We all suffer in life not because of shortage of time, but because of excess of time. See? And why we have so much of time? Because I am somebody. See, friends. Therefore, when we get tired of carrying this load of somebody, then who is this somebody? Inside we are not one. Inside we are a crowd. Like a poultry farm. See how much we talk to ourselves. If you can recognize this principle, stop talking to yourself. Yes, what Swami says is right. But how to talk? What do I do? There is no end. See? Therefore, recognize this basic error we have. That inside there is a crowd. And this crowd is a load that we carry, and the summation of that load is Mr. Somebody. See? And when there is somebody, he has nothing but problems. See, friends. So, instead of complaining, why my mind is disturbed? There should not be thoughts in the mind. These errors are required to be corrected. Can we complain to the doctor that I can see by my eyes? If I cannot see, then we go to the doctor. Can we complain to the doctor that I cannot, I hear? No, I go to the doctor if I cannot hear. In the same manner, mind will have thoughts. So if there are no thoughts in the mind, it is not a mind. See? So there is no problem of thoughts. First thing, don't struggle to control the mind. The struggle to control the mind is like a child in a school was looking at the mercury in a glass bottle and it slipped from his hand and fell down, broke. So mercury spread on the floor. He was scared. Now the teacher will scold. So he started collecting the mercury by his fingers and tried to put it to something. Will he be ever successful? Exactly that way. Our struggle to control the mind. Never do that. Then, how do we get out of it? So first, one has to have a disciplined life. There is no compromise on self-discipline. When we sleep, when we get up, what we read, what we eat, where we go, it has to be properly disciplined. It's not, we are not a furniture, Anybody can lift us and put somewhere. No. And we can be disciplined only if we have something higher to achieve in our life. See? When Shanti told me to come here, what attracted me towards her is her vision. That urge to do something great for someone. See, friends, if you have a pain in your knee and if you are busy in helping other people's pain relief campaign, you forget your pain. Instead of taking a painkiller, painkiller that kills you without pain. It doesn't cure you. See, So to have something higher in life as a goal, then you get oriented. Higher the goal, more is the commitment required. And a commitment can be fulfilled only if we are disciplined. See, friends. Therefore, this is the first step in taking care of the mind. Second step, most important step, educate the mind. Education of the mind. What is our condition? We go to the shop, buy a cigarette and read smoking kills. Give 2 more packets and we start. That means what we read has no impact on us. It was just like a design. No. When the words carry meaning in our heart, then only the change can come. When these 2 things are done to a sufficient extent, then we can go still subjective. Now the world no more disturbs us. And what is the subjective? Subjective is to whom the thoughts come. Investigate. Whenever you are disturbed, who is disturbed? Of course, I am disturbed. Who are you? When I say I am old, I means body. When I say I am hungry, I means the prana. When I say I am hurt, I means the mind. When I say I am a self-made man, born without parents like an amoeba, self-made man, then I means the intellect, Vijnanamaya Kosha. And the third one, I am to Baba happy-go-lucky, Anandamaya Kosha. Here we don't stop. The poultry farm is still increasing. So, 5 eyes. Plus, I am a man, I am a woman, 6. I am American, I am Indian, 7. I am rich, I am poor, 8. I am husband, I am wife, 9. I am in-law, I am outlaw, 10. Go on adding. And as a result, inside, you know, when I saw the design outside coming, it is a web. That web is inside us. See? And then whosoever gets an opportunity peeps out and start disturbing us. Therefore, unless we correct this clearly, there cannot be freedom from I. And for that, only what we have to recognize is who is miserable. So we will come to know always behind every disturbance there is somebody. In English there is a proverb, nobody is happy. It is true. Mr. Nobody alone is happy. Somebody is always miserable. The moment you discover this principle, if you are disturbed, instead of getting carried away by the disturbances, find out who is disturbed, then you will come to know you as a husband is disturbed. Then you as a father is disturbed. In this manner, first step, recognize that somebody is disturbed. Now second step, if we remain nobody, how we will survive in this world? We have to become somebody or the other. Like now I have become a speaker, and you have become, I imagine, listener, because I don't know whether you are listening or not. So I have become somebody, you have become somebody. So to transact the business of life, we all have to become something or the other. See? So, we all have to play a lot of roles. Sometime I am an officer, sometime I am subordinate, Sometime I am husband, sometime I am wife. We all have to play the roles. And who is the best actor? The one who plays the role perfectly without getting influenced by that role. See? The other day I saw in the flight probably, when I go by these flights, that is the best thing I do. First of all, I go to the kids corner, and there are many beautiful movies, these Disneyland movies, animation, I like them more. And one more movie I like was the Karate Kids. So when I was seeing that movie, what really inspired me, how that child has to learn to discipline. After he becomes disciplined, then only self-confidence can be installed. Without discipline, self-confidence cannot come. And once the self-confidence comes, we add an extra to our personality. Be very attentive. Ordinary husband and extraordinary husband. Ordinary wife, extraordinary wife. Ordinary teacher, extraordinary teacher. Ordinary student, extraordinary student. This extra factor is added to our every role that we play, provided we are having self-confidence. And that can come only if we know the fundamentals. The fundamentals are this, that we all have to play different roles. So there is no complaint. Normally what we do everything, but with complaint. I don't know why. So our beginning is not inspired beginning, but it is a perspired beginning, right from the beginning. See, you must have seen the athletes when they run. They are standing there in a row and they are waiting for the signal. At the moment the signal is given, they don't run. They shoot like a bullet. If I have to run in their place, I'll first of all take out my wooden shoes and do my lungi like this. By then they will reach. How our day begins? Is our day beginning like the beginning of a race? Or our day is beginning, OGIM. You know OGIM? This is the new hotel chain I have opened in USA. The old chain, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. My chain is OGIM. Oh God, it's Monday. Because the weekend we go, become weekend and come back. Such uninspired existence can never be fulfillment in life. See, friends. Therefore, we have to learn this basic principle. Life is a fun if the fundamentals are clear. Life is mental if the fundamentals are not clear. These are the fundamentals. See, there is one book I read many years before, written by, I think, Robert Fulghum or somebody, and the name of the book is All That We Need to Know Is What We Studied in Kindergarten. That is the name of the book. So when I took it, normally we go to the last page to see something. It is written there, start from the first page. See? And what we have learned in our KG school, early to bed and early to rise is the way to be healthy, wealthy and wise. Now today's world, all of us, look within. We are unable to go to sleep. What a poverty. And worse than that, we are unable to leave the bed. See, friends, imagine you have got a car and you are going down the hill, and your car is so terrible that when you apply the brake, it gets applied after half an hour. What will be the condition? Accident guaranteed. Exactly the same way. Neither our day starts with a freedom, nor our day concludes with the freedom. See, if you read the life of Napoleon, on the battlefield, he used to tell his commanders, take care for 20 minutes. I'll go and have a power nap and come. He'll go to his tent in the din and roar of the battle. Take a 20 minutes with 20 minutes nap. Come out. Fresh. And that freedom is the dignity of being human being. See, friends, this is all that is required. Nothing great. And when we have this, then what happens? We are fit. Physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually. Unless we are fit, we cannot do anything in this world. Unless we are fit, we cannot achieve anything in this world. Unless we are fit, we cannot be inspired. See, friends, and such a fit person is able to play every role perfectly. He is not an ordinary father, he is an extraordinary father. See, not like the one who was asked by his son, Dad, yes, I want to become an intelligent husband when I grow. What I have to do? So, Dad looked at the child, didn't reply, started washing his car. Again, Dad, come on, tell me. When I want to grow, I want to become an intelligent husband. Please tell me. Again, he looked at the child, didn't reply, started killing, continued the same job. Third time, the child got angry. He held that hose. Dad, you have to reply. Every time mom calls you dumb, I don't want to hear that word from my wife. So tell me how to become an intelligent husband. The father said, my dear child, there is nothing like intelligent husband. Those who are intelligent, they never become husband. Example. See, friends, take life with that understanding. Then you will see, life is not a burden, it's a freedom. And what is the freedom? We are available 24/7. Meditation is not silent suffering for half an hour. Normally, this is what meditation is meant. You sit in a most uncomfortable posture, hand tied down, switch off all the lights so that both the student and the teacher can go to sleep and then wake up. Friends, we have to live 24/7 in meditation. And living in meditation is this quality. We are ever fresh, ever available for whatever role we have to play. Then we start acting in life. Normally, we react in life. Whenever we react, there is a dent on the mind. Whenever we act, mind remains protected. Like an actor on the stage. He comes on the stage and whatever he says is just only acting. Whether he is playing the role of a criminal or playing a role of a beloved, he knows it is just an acting. So he comes and gives a flower to that girl. Honey, darling, I love you. He knows this is just an acting. He doesn't fall in love. And therefore he doesn't get hurt. Normally people say, I have fallen in love. Naturally when you fall you get hurt. You should rise in love. Don't fall in love. See friends. Therefore that actor, he comes, nicely delivers all the dialogues and goes away fresh. An actor is recognized. He gets money. He gets name. He gets fame because he is acting. The moment he starts reacting, everything goes away. In the same manner, we all have to learn this art of acting. Act as a husband. Act as a wife. And when we are playing that role, play perfectly. But after the role is over, it's over. There will be zero load that we will be carrying on our mind. And such a person is ever available in the present. And whenever you are available in the present, you are happy. And whenever you are happy, you are one with God. Take an example. In a school, the teacher asks question to the students. I was talking in Yogville this example. Because I have seen so many of them so seriously sitting as if they are being persecuted after this is over, everybody will be slaughtered. I said, don't sit like that, relax. And then I told this. In a school, the teacher asked, you tell, yes madam, he who cannot see, what do you call him? Blind. Very good. Next student. Now you tell, if somebody cannot talk, what do you call him? Dumb. Very good. The third student. If somebody cannot hear, what do you call him? Call him anything, anyway he doesn't hear. So when those who understood and laughed, that time they were one with the Lord. And those who were thinking, they are buried under their own load of Mr. Somebody. Relax, shed away, and revert back to your originality. By default, we are divine. We don't have to get happiness from the world. We are here as the counters to distribute happiness rather than an encounter with everyone. Then we can do that. It's not difficult. It's a question of only practice. And what is the practice? Let us not do anything for getting happiness. Let us live every moment of our life to distribute happiness. So when you walk, walk happily. A person who walks happily, he has got a different gait. He has got a different gesture. And the one who is walking, anybody who expresses misery in life is a strong ego. Stronger the ego, more miserable is the person. Lesser the ego, less miserable is the person. God has no ego, therefore he is all bliss. See friends, one of the techniques of getting rid of your misery is help a miserable person. Don't distribute your miseries to others. Everybody is self-sufficient. We don't have to give them. So when we walk happily. When we talk happily. A happy person cannot utter a bad word. A happy person is not a destructive principle. Like, can somebody say to his girlfriend, honey, darling, I'm so happy today. I tell you, I just want to cut your head. Not possible. See, friends, a happy person cannot think destructive. And this happiness, we don't have to get from outside. You get those cards, you have to scratch them. And then you get some prize there. But whenever we scratch, it comes, you are dumb, oh God. But here we are scratching with a confidence and a guarantee. Scratch yourself and you'll come to discover you are the source of happiness. Therefore, whenever we are nobody, we are happy. To come back to that happy nobody status, this is the only simple practice. Remain cheerful and happy. If somebody asks you how are you, don't tell the truth. Normally what we do, we take the revenge on that person. Okay, you ask, now you suffer. And then we start. Two things you try in life. Number one, never try to make anybody happy. God has failed. Could He make us happy? No. So where God has failed to make anybody happy, we should not try. Second thing, we don't have to make anybody miserable. Because everybody has got a right to be miserable. We belong to the democratic setup. I have a right to be miserable, tadhastu, continue. In short, if you remain cheerful and happy, we have learnt everything. Yoga, karma, devotion, knowledge. Ultimately, it merges only in this bliss. See, friends. Therefore, the more we start living in the present, the more we are living as Mr. Nobody. Nobody is the one who can be anybody and yet does not carry the load of anybody. Like an actor on the stage. Now see, is it not true in our life? An actor comes on the stage with his choice? No. The director tells, now you go. Then only the actor can come on the stage. After he comes, what he should talk, what acting he should do, and how long should he remain on the stage? Who decides? The actor? No. The director decides. And when he should leave the stage and go away, who decides? The actor? No. The director. Is it not true with us? When we came in this world, did anybody ask us? You will be born in Vietnam. Who asked us? We were pushed. And thereafter, when we leave this world, is anybody going to come and ask, excuse me, you are transferred to China? No. Our arrival and departure from the stage of world is not under our control, friends. So is the case. What is going to happen in our life, it is determined. Only one thing is a freedom for us. And that freedom is whether we play the role according to the fulfillment of the desire of our creator, the director, or we keep on reacting and start suffering in life. See, friends, therefore all the spiritual practices, we remain as nobody and also as a fit instrument. And when we remain as a fit instrument, then only He chooses us. See? For example, suppose I was doing this camera thing. Now I told only one person, you come and do this thing. So many people, why I didn't tell everybody? Because that one particular person I have worked with and I knew he is willing, he is capable, then only I have chosen him. For simple work that we do in this world, we see a suitable person for our job. Is it not? Whatever he has to get done, he is also searching for a suitable person. So all that we have to do to be a fit instrument. And fit instrument plus nobody is the vehicle through which the divinity expresses. Be attentive. Expression of divinity has three aspects. One, we live and we let others live. Neither there is an attempt on ourself, I want to kill myself, or I want to kill others. No. We live, let others live. Second thing, we don't deceive anybody, nor do we get deceived by anybody. Third, we are happy and we don't make anybody miserable. In these three things are the expression of our life. Then understand we have become a vehicle through which the Lord is expressing. See, friends, in this manner, when we slowly get out of the sketch of somebody and come to the point of nobody, you will be extremely light in your journey of life. Don't make happiness as the goal of life. Make happiness as the way of life. Who knows after death you'll go to heaven or hell? One person came and asked me one day, we are all sitting. He came and did Namaskar, Swamiji, please save me, please save me. I said, who, police is coming behind you? No, not police. Then I have done terrible sins in my life. I have killed people, I have cheated, I have looted, and I deceived everyone. Now old age has come, I can't, sir, I am feeling so miserable. Please save me, I don't want to go to hell. I said, sit down. I promise you, you will not go to hell. After doing so many things, I will not go to hell. I said, no. How come? I said, where are you now? A person who does not discover fulfillment in life, he is in hell. What we have done in our life is only one thing. Try to fulfill the desires. I want this thing, I want that thing. And how many things clutter we have around us. But we did not pause for a moment that nothing in this world can attract us for more than few moments. Nothing. We just want to leave everything and go to sleep. See, once I was going in Switzerland, husband and wife, husband was driving the car, wife was driving the husband, and I was sitting at the back side, and the two kids were with me. I was in the center. This child, one child, this other child. And both of them were sleeping on me like a blanket. Like that. So the mother tells, Swamiji, wake them up. Let them see how beautiful the places are. We have spent so much of money. We came all the way from India and these kids are sleeping. Wake them up. I said, look here. They are more happy than looking outside. Anything you collect in this world, it cannot attract your mind lifelong. Because the real happiness, unknowingly, we all know, when we discard everything, then alone the truth reveals. So empty yourself. One PowerPoint I received, very beautiful one, the principle of emptiness. And this, when I saw that PowerPoint, I remembered one of my experiences. It was so true. I was staying somewhere in a small house in Mumbai, Bombay. And my friend told me, Swamiji, you have to shift to a bigger house, this is too small. I said, it's okay, I come hardly here, 4, 5, 7 days. No. I said, okay, do it. So he, in a big house, he selected for me. And I said, now you have selected, now you shift my books. I am not going to do that job. Because that is the only possession I had. So he packed the books in the cartons, about 20-25 of them, huge collection of my library. And then he put it at new house. They were sitting there for 3 years. I had no time to open all the boxes and see where is what. Every time I used to go, that whole pile was looking at me. I said, my God. Every time I had to come, but I had no time to open all of them because again I am going within a day or two. So it continued, I'll do it tomorrow, next time, 3 years. Finally, I got disgusted. So I wrote a letter to one of the librarians. I said, in such and such place, my books are lying. I want to donate them to your library. Please accept and oblige. He said, thank you, Swamiji. I said, you come and collect and take it. So he came with the vehicle, collected and took it and wrote me an email. Swamiji, as you said, we have done it. When you come back, then you may just sign some letter. I said, okay. The moment I got that email, all the books are taken away and the hall is empty. I felt so relieved. Where was that? It was only in the mind. This load we all carry. Physical load, accumulation. Patanjali says, aparigraha, non-accumulation of things. This habit of accumulating the things in the outer world goes inside. Then inside we accumulate memories. The two loads that we have, external world, possessions, internal world, relations. We are all miserable because of the possessiveness and relationships. See, friend, therefore, empty yourself. And how the emptiness can be done? Be attentive. Only we become aware that this particular object we purchase, is it really used? So get rid of it. No, I think I may be using some time. Keep on accumulating. This is the first step. Reduce the clutter around. Second thing, drop the memories of the past. Now, how to drop the memories of the past? Simple technique. Learn from the past and drop the past. Instead of learning from the past, we carry the load of the past. And the load of the past is in the form of likes and dislikes, friends and enemies. Let us clean the mind. Then you will see, you will start experiencing absolute lightness. And that lightness is so wonderful, friends. We start remaining more and more in the present. Principle of emptiness, in the morning I was talking someplace. The principle of emptiness is indicated in, that the life of Lord Krishna, who is standing with the flute in the hand. See, the flute is made out of bamboo. It has got holes. By itself, it cannot bring out the music. When the Lord blows air through that flute and moves his fingers, then the music comes out. In the same manner, we are like that flute which has got 7 holes. Those 7 holes are the 7 chakras. The Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya and Sahasrara. Through those 7 holes, when the divine will flows, a music comes out. But when a devil flows, a tragedy comes out. See, friends, let us be an instrument in His hand. Then only there will be fulfillment in life. What we have done in our life is only fulfilling the desires, but not learned that fulfillment of desires has never led us to fulfillment in life. What we are all seeking is fulfillment in life. And when there is a fulfillment in life, there is nothing to be added, nothing to be protected. See, friend, the joy. Then we start getting such unique experiences which cannot be calculated or understood from the cause and effect point of view. I'll give only 2 days before example. I was in LA. You know, LA is a city where people only sit in the car and keep traveling whole day. Any place you go, minimum 1.5 or 2 hours and traffic jam. So, day first day we had a lecture in a place, and the normal time taken is, if there is no traffic, then the time taken will be about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So my friend says, Swamiji, this is LA, there can be any delay. So, lecture was at 7 o'clock, he started with me from the house at 4 o'clock, 3 hours. I said, I can reach San Jose. So we started. And we reached 1.5 hours before time. He says, Swamiji, I don't know what happened today. There is no traffic anywhere. We have come so early. Now what is to be done? I said, let us do satsang in Starbucks. And we went to the Starbucks and we had nice time, nice music for 1.5 hours. He said, I don't know how come today there is no traffic. See, this is not miracle, this is not jadoo. Leave everything to Him, you remain perfect. He will take care of. See, when we think that our efforts are going to be complete, it is not possible. One day one person asked me, Swamiji, why all the miseries come to me? I work so hard, I have done so much, why I am not successful? I said, because you have kept him unemployed. Wherever anybody is unemployed, he is the source of misery. See, in London, the things that are happening, one of the interviewers listening, in that interview that person says, there are more than 1 million youth unemployed. What will they do? Whenever somebody is unemployed, he becomes a source of nuisance. Don't keep him unemployed. Keep him employed. Do your work and leave the rest as his responsibility. And when he becomes responsible, he is busy, then he won't create trouble for us. Thus, bring these 2 factors together. Our efforts are uncompromisingly perfect, and in that we discover fulfillment. Thus, we start learning the art of remaining in the present and happy. See, friends, now just the more you contemplate on this, it becomes so easy and obvious. Do we have a choice to live yesterday or tomorrow? We have no choice. We have to live today, number one. Number two, whatever we do in our life, can we do it yesterday or tomorrow? Whatever we do is always today. Third, if whatever we do is an expression of happiness, what will happen? Today, at the time of doing the job, we will be happy. He who is happy now alone is happy. Tomorrow I will become happy. It has never happened because tomorrow never comes. Like I am talking to you, imagine I think this way, that after my lecture is over, then you will say, Swamiji, you spoke very well, and then I will become happy. So what I have done? I have postponed my happiness in the future period of time. Second thing, my happiness will depend on you. Third thing, now I am miserable. But contrary to that, if now I am happily delivering whatever I have to say, whether you like or you don't like, it is your problem, not my problem. Take this principle of life. You will see we have achieved everything in life. See, friends, and it doesn't come from outside. It has to be discovered. Discovered means what? It is there, but it is covered because of some wrong notion. All of us live a notional life. Many years before, I have seen one movie, and it was such a beautiful movie. Must be about 40 years before. There was a riot between two communities. So one community people came to kill the people of other community. And there was a small child in that house where everybody was killed. The neighbor was belonging to the community which was killing others. So that lady, she picked up the small baby, innocently lying in the bed, in the cradle, and held. So those people who came to kill, they saw, oh, she is her child. So they didn't touch. Everything over. She brought up that child up to the age of 20. And when again the riots broke, this child wanted to go and kill the others. That time this mother tells, stop for a moment. Today I will tell you the truth. You are not my child. You are born out of the same people to whom you want to go and kill. Now go. His notion was they are enemies. The moment his notion changes, today our notion is that I am the body. Today our notion is I am the soul. Our notion is I am Indian, I am American. This notional existence is the basic cause of all the problems in life. Therefore, friends, come to recognize and discard the wrong notions that we are essentially divine first. Insist on this and let the divinity express through us. See, friends. We have not done yoga, we have not done pranayama, we have not done charity. At this moment, the quality of our experience is only temporarily correcting our notions about our being. At this moment, we are neither man nor woman, neither young nor old. This is not a temporary experience, friends. It is 24/7. Living in this experience, thereafter playing the game of life. And when we play any game, we have to follow the rules and regulations of the game. In the same manner, we all have to follow the rules and regulations of the game of life. Whatever is our responsibility, if we fulfill our responsibility, we are not obliging anybody. We are supposed to, without any expectations in return. He who discovers joy in fulfilling the duties, he never gets lost in expecting something in return. See, friends, then alone the fulfillment in life comes. And this is what we are all seeking. Alas, our search is misplaced. Instead of seeking the fulfillment, we are seeking the objects to fill in whatever empty place is there, fill in that. Get rid of these wrong notions and be happy. It is the easiest way. I am not telling you any great things. We all know this. And once this becomes a firm foundation, thereafter you live in this world as a counter where bliss and happiness is distributed. Anybody who comes in our contact feels fulfilled, feels joy. And it is not for one or two selected ones, but every one of us has this potentiality. We can, we must, we will. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Switch off. उधर से रेड बटन है एक,
Oh, this one?
हाँ, दबा देना.